is that?
What is up, everyone? Welcome to Mechs on Deck. My name is Osiris. Above me is Chewy, and today we have Mr. Kimchijodyboi.
Stan Kimchijodyboi.
How you doing?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me.
Dude, we appreciate you coming on. And also, DD Decline, appreciate the 7 months sub. Appreciate that, man.
Hell yeah, dude. Getting close. We're at preemie level.
Ooh.
We're at preemie level. No, guys, if you haven't checked out Kimchijodyboi stream, hit !guest. and you can find out Phantasmal Cat. You can find out exactly who the fuck this weeb is. He runs a very animated. I love your streams because they are. You're a fun person to listen to because you get animated, and I love that. Very involved in the community on Reddit and on Discord. So, guys, if you haven't checked him out, please go check him out. He's been in the hobby for, as you said, a little over a year now. So, welcome to Mechs on Deck.
Thank you, but I was also kind of surprised that you guys asked me to be on because one, it was like super fast and pretty informal, and two, I was like,
oh, dude, it's super informal. I'm just like, any time of the day, I'm like, you seem like a cool guy to chat with. I remember being here, I was like, dude, just hit me up whenever you get a chance.
Yeah, you asked me, and I was like, oh man, it's not my stream. I can't say dumb shit anymore. And like,
you can.
So I'm a little nervous right now. So I'm just, don't mind me.
Hey, liquid courage.
Little liquid courage there. Little brown bravery. But no, you can feel free. You feel free to say dumb shit as much as you want. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as Brez said, you can. We let anyone on. We let Moon on. So that's the bars. That's as low as you can get. So,
All right, so. Thank you, Carne.
But guys, thank you for tuning in, and we are going to be doing Keyboard of the Week tonight. Last night, we ran over a little bit, and we were like, we'll push it back one more day. Plus, it lets Kimchi be able to judge people. I mean, who doesn't like judging other people's stuff, right? Because it's like
that's what this entire community is based. No, I'm just
kidding. I mean, honestly, like that's layers. It really is.
Oh yeah, like, that's like the literally the easy content is just let's go into Geek Hack, click on every single Group by IC review, and let's just judge it.
But so we are going to get into that, but real quick, shout out to our awesome sponsors and partners: Project Keyboards, SwitchMod.net, Dixie Mech, and Canon Keys, as well as Zap, Type Beast, and Smith and Rune. We'll hear more from them in a little while, but if you're itching for some new keycap sets, if you're itching for a new cable, some new merch, all that cool stuff, click any of those links and you'll be able to find something. Something that you'll spend your money on, right? That's what the hobby is. We just spend money on stuff, so much money on things that is all just extra.
So much money. I was a week into this month and I did the math and I was like, oh man, I'm over budget again. So
that's how it goes. That's how it goes, especially like when you first start getting into everything. I feel like you get in and you're kind of like conservative at first, and then like the floodgates open and you just go crazy with it. And then you get everything in and you start to see like, oh crap, I have a lot of stuff. I have so much. And you kind of like get like the anxiety and you're like, okay, maybe I should kind of part ways with some things. Just reel it back in a little bit.
Yeah, I'm already taking stock of what I have and I'm like, I could probably sell like half of this and I'd be okay. But then also I have so much coming in that I'm like, I might need a few of these switches. I might need a few of these keycaps.
Yeah, it's I'm in that. I'm getting a lot of my keycaps that I've been ordering. Like I got Grain, Cafe, Ursa will be here in the next 5 weeks. SA Godspeed will be here probably next week. So I'm getting a lot of things in. So right now I'm like, yes, the fruit of my labor, and the labor was 7-8 months ago.
It goes. So. It goes. Also, exactly what Disco Crocodile said of like artisans. I know specifically for Chewy, of like not he will never buy artisans, but like more of the we don't really understand them, and then Chewy like kind of went a little all in, and those are the ones that aren't on his boards.
Yeah, I've got more, but I haven't bought an artisan
everything I bought
in a hot minute. I've been a little more
semester at college, loudly
just
crying.
Focused on other things. I was upgrading my camera. I was gotta pay for a key colt somehow, right? So
True.
there
That's
are
the
just other
dream.
things. I feel like artisans are something that comes and goes, and then I had to ask myself, like, okay, make sure you're getting the ones that you want. And there are definitely some that I have seen that I've wanted, but I'm just like, that's money I could use elsewhere at this moment in time. Plus, like Osiris's birthday and my wife's birthday and my sister-in-law's birthday and another really good friend of mine's birthday is all like bam, 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 bam. And end of August or beginning of September is
Yeah, and then you got like the
it's done.
holidays and Christmas. Oh
That's
man.
coming up. So
And then yeah, speaking of artisans, I was not really I mean, I like them, but I'm very picky with my artisans. But I actually got my first one in. Shout out to Jeff Leopard who sent this to me. Amazing dude. It is
he's a
the
homie.
oh god, I forgot what this is called. It's the cap is called Pain, but I forgot who makes it.
Oh yeah, the paint caps are legit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
sweet.
not like the it's not the fanciest artisan out there, obviously, but I mean, I really like it, and
Brew caps. Thank you,
this is
Singapore.
yes, brew
Yeah,
caps.
brew caps.
And then I look at it, and I'm like, every time I look at it, there's new things that I'm finding within the cap, just the level of detail. I'm like, and this has a hole where I can actually wear it as a necklace too. I'm like,
Ooh, Upas is here. So Upas, I guess shout out to Keeb Noob. We have an idea for you. All right, a little live idea that we were given last night about if you can do this with the wrecked and the obliterated and everything from that line. Keeb Noob said that you should put up like if you have a 65% or a 75% or a whatever percent, these are the kits that you would need to put it out in this layout.
Yeah,
And just like a little, just a little
for cat.
for cat, because cat, there's like 900 different keycap things to buy. Yeah, for cat. And so it's like, hey, if you want to buy this and this, and I'm sure that's a pretty easy infographic you could make and throw on there.
Sometimes people get a
So-
little overwhelmed by the number of kits that are optioned for cat group buys.
Well, and
Yeah,
then you want to make sure that they get everything, because that would be the worst is when you get everything and then you're like, cool, where's my split backspace? And you're like, fuck. We when Osiris and I worked at Guitar Center, we always talked about for someone to play electric guitar to plug into their amp, you have to start at the wall all the way to the pick, because you don't want them to open it up on Christmas and they don't have a guitar cable because you forgot to sell them a guitar cable, and now they can't play until the following day, because that's why you don't want to sit with a keyboard with like a pipe key, because who fucking uses pipe keys? 1.75 U pipe key or 1.5 U pipe keys.
or I guess the pipe key for its intended purpose. I mean,
Yeah, or like I would say more often than not, like weird bottom row
Yeah.
or like not having the right short shift sometimes can happen. But yeah,
speaking of cat sets that have like insane amounts of kits, what is it, Cat Napoleonic?
Yeah. That's like 4 group buys in one.
Oh
like
my-
I don't see that being successful.
The sheer amount of like work and research that went into that, I'm blown away. And on top of that, I'm just thinking like, oh man, QC and like just sorting all of this is gonna be it's gonna be insane for any of the vendors running it.
It's gonna be tough.
I mean, they do have the little shopping list. Excuse me, for the actual different like boards you have, but still, it's like there's so many different.
Well, there's so
kittings.
yeah. There's so many, and then like if I'm looking at, because I'm looking at the kit shopping list right now, it's like TKL mods. Like, well, that doesn't exactly tell me. Is that only TKL mods? What if I'm getting a 60% and you don't know that like TKL mods would just fit on the 60% or 65% on a lot of them? But and I mean, obviously keyboard standard types, but it's just there's some room for improvement. And people like images. People don't like reading; they like looking.
Absolutely. Well,
That's the truth.
as you know, we do typically start the stream with a guest with our Fast Four. So, Chewy, you want to start us off?
Top 4 favorite Switches.
Okay, I have a list. I had to think about this.
Love a guy who preps.
So I just want to preface this by saying that everything that I build is more. It's not based on like what I mean, it is based on what I like, but I get the board and I'm kind of like, what do I think would go good with this? And I try to make the board just as best as it possibly can. That being said, my favorites overall, in no particular order, I have to stress this. Milky Yellows, because I love me the slow spring weight, and they're insane value, budget king, as Clarissa says, budget king. So Milky Yellows, Angies. A lot of people don't like the clack. I personally do like the clack. It does get a little plasticky sometimes, but I think overall they're incredibly smooth and the aesthetic is nice. I like the way that they sound. Gat Inks. Gat Inks overall, I think there's only one board that I've actually heard them in that doesn't sound good, but every single other build that I've seen them with, they've sounded really, really good. They're incredibly smooth, and they're just an overall really well-rounded Switch. And I guess JWK linears in general, but very, very specifically Dojacons, because, Doge. Honorable mention to Navies, though. They are the first tactile Switch that I actually really, 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 really like.
This is interesting. I feel like we never have. It's been, well, not never, but it's been a long time since we've had someone that's like all about tactiles as a guest.
Yeah.
Or all about.
Well, no, like, and most people, like, you like obviously all linears, but it's been a hot minute since someone's been like tactical.
Oh yeah, I'm not too big of a tactile person. I like, as I often say on my stream, I like bottoming out.
Hey, dude, who doesn't like punching? That's so very quick. So I was using the JO1, which is very blurry right here behind, but and it has like 70 gram, just the standard springs. And then I switched back to my Crown last night, and I literally like couldn't type for like 2 minutes because it was like there are 100 or 98 gram springs, and I was just like punching through that keyboard, just like
Yeah, I've been moving more and more to the lighter spring weights, and I kind of want to. The next meetup that happens in person in SoCal, I want to build a board and just someone give me like a Keycolt or something, or a really high end board or a Jane, and I'll like put it out for people to type on, and I'm gonna have like 3 springs that are like 1.5 kilograms. So as people are typing, they're just gonna hit the one, and like they're gonna have to minesweeper around it.
something's wrong here.
It'll be on like really specific keys too, like backspace or like shift or like the N key. That'll
put it on something you use
keys that are like
pinky.
used but not super often.
Just do all 5 of the vowels.
Oh
man,
that's genius. That's genius.
Zoo, thank you for the 69 bits. Appreciate that.
Nice.
But next up is your top 4 favorite keyboards.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say this. So again, not in any specific order. I was going to, but no, because they're all really close. First one on the list, Rukia. Rukia is amazing. I am in on that buy. The subtle changes that Jax did for the aesthetic of the Alice, with the chamfered edges. I love me some chamfered edges. Oh, the raised floor and the slightly altered angle. On top of just like, I'm a sucker for polycarbonate. I love the way polycarb cases look. So Rukia, from Fropsy, the Sakura 660 that's coming up. Aside from Alice, probably, and TKL is getting up there, but like aside from that, the 660 layout for 65% is probably my favorite. Not to mention, I'm a huge weeb, and that rear weight is amazing. I love what he did with the new colors. So the Sakura 660, of course, the Lin montage. That was my first Korean custom. I have it on my desk right now. I'm typing on it. It feels amazing. And then it's just like I said before, like on probably like in your chat somewhere, the ano quality is fantastic. This is some of the best ano I've seen. Um, and then another upcoming board that will be very hard to get until next year, the F18X, aka the Frequency One, by Gone. That board, not only so first when I heard a typing test, and that's actually the one board where I heard, I was like, Gaddings don't quite sound as good as I would hope, but you know, I use typing tests as kind of like renders, more of as like a reference. But for that video specifically, I was like, oh my god, it sounds amazing. First of all, second, I did more digging and research into the way he designed the plate, and his gasket mount system is so simple. But I was just like, that's so smart. So it has me super curious, super interested. I'm going to do everything in my power to try and get that board. Possibly extras, if not next year.
Doesn't that always
it's
suck?
got 6 different weights. Good
Oh
lord.
yeah, he's got like 6 internal weights. And I was like, is there a reason for, I asked him, because Kenyan's built it on stream, and I asked him in his chat, like, is there a reason why you have 6 internal weights as opposed to like one big internal one or just a normal weight? And he said specifically for the ano, when you're anoing the bottom case, it's easier and you get a more consistent quality on the internals as opposed to just a regular weight that's in there. And I guess he used like a different kind of manufacturer or ano person service. So, but yes, that board is amazing.
It looks dope. I just looked at a video of someone building it, and I was like, "That's 6 weights. That's 6 different brass weights. That's a lot of screws." And if you guys don't know, screws are expensive as fuck. Like triple-digit numbers for screws. if you're planning on running a group buy, put in a couple extra bucks for screws because they're expensive. So, and which board though? I think he said the F18X.
Yeah, it's known now as the F18X. Before in the IC, it was a Freak One FREQ1, but yeah, F18X.
Looks sick. Top 4 favorite keycap sets.
A lot of these are going to be recent, but Analog Dreams, I got that in. The second I saw the IC, I was like, I need this. Fantastic. And I like more muted, pastel, desaturated colors. That being said, the next one is GMK Bingsu. I love the way the colors look. I'm not a big fan usually of like red or brown, but Bingsu does a balance of the colors as well with like the legends. The white on the legends is really, really nice, and the accent. I still need the Hangul kit because I'm an idiot. Next on that is a Masterpiece. Because weeb, full katakana. Masterpiece is dope. The color is, I saw the samples that 159 posted in his server. Really nice. And then one that's actually an older set, EPBT Simple Jaw. I kind of slept on that one, and I severely regret it. He does have Modern Jaw coming out whenever AIO3, whenever that happens, because he has Vega and Andromeda too coming out. But EPBT Simple Jaw, if that ever gets run again, I'm buying like 3 kits of that.
This is basic, but this isn't very interesting legends.
They're super
it's
thin.
It's thin, but like it's also very simple. There's just something about the simple aesthetic and like the retro like beige gray color of the mods that combined with the alphas that I really like, that it hasn't quite hit on other sets similar to that. Also weeb.
Also weeb.
You just like
That's
what
just
you
gonna
like.
be.
Yeah. AIO3 can actually do no wrong. I feel like at this point the dude's like insane at design and just like has a knack for designing things that people really enjoy, and like people need, but they don't know they need until he makes it.
Yeah, he made me want to get a Polaris aftermarket, so that's fun. But yeah,
But come on,
he's
you could have
amazing.
done a standard 60% AR. Come on, could have done a standard PCB. That was the only reason I did not get a Polaris.
Yeah, that centered USB is a little unusual, but
I say that with the key colt, but I'm like, I can at least now the was the Kate PCB,
Mm-hmm.
and I can use that now. So
oh yeah,
Same.
Wilba's like the WT60C and the D and the
yeah,
I guess there's another one like a K or something, another
I think
letter.
the K is the one, the pink one that has the JST connector. Because you made one, I
There's
think
a
it was the
bunch
K,
of
but
them.
yeah, the D, the WT60D is the one that doesn't have JST connectors. That's the one that was made for the Fiel with the flex
Yeah,
cut.
the weird flex, but they all support JST kind of technically, right? Because I
Yeah, I
thought I did. Am I crazy? I had a WT60 just in case.
I can go look, but I mean,
Yeah.
I don't plan on not on taking apart my key colt ever. So I'm afraid that there's only like 40 or 50 original Zycos left, and I'm afraid that if I took apart that board, that I would lose probably about 40 more.
Yeah.
So
Both those PCBs have the JST connector. You just have to solder it on.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's compatible with it. It's just whether or not you want one that has the flex cuts or not. But yeah, it is center mounted USB is interesting because that's also the downfall of the Leaf 60.
Yep.
But
That's why I didn't get a Leaf 60. Although honestly, I'm okay with that. Like that's one. The Polaris was cool, and like if I got one, I wouldn't be upset. But the Leaf 60, after typing on them before, a couple of them before, I'm like, I'm fine. Like that, I'm not upset.
yeah.
I actually hit on the Weavin R3, and I got the OG version specifically for two reasons. One, price, but two, because it has the left USB. So that way, if I wanted to rebuild it or like get different plates cut, I could just get a 60% PCB. So that way, I didn't have to worry about the center mount.
Yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I like the idea of having the daughter board and being able to have like that flexibility. I think that's a cool option. But
Yeah, I should probably get one of those weird flex PCBs now.
but dude, the ability to just like swap in and out PCBs that easy and not worry about having the like the daughter board issue or having JST connector issues. It's nice because sometimes it does happen. Cables are
Yeah,
easy to replace. The daughter boards can be, but I feel like they're harder to find.
it's also one of those things where I'm looking into like designing my own case, and I'm just like learning everything that I can. I soak up information as like from every source that I can, and I kind of parse through what's good, what's not. And from what I ever understand, the daughter boards, one of the main reasons for JST for gasket mount specifically is that when you're typing, if you use like a different flexi or plate, depending on how the gaskets are made, you can put strain on the USB port, and over time that can actually break. So it was one, pretty interesting, but two, I was also looking through to see what gasket mount boards actually with the USB, especially a flush USB, had integrated the USB-C port or the mini, depending on what your preference is. Uh, and interestingly enough, the Think 6.5 V2, I didn't realize it till afterwards. It had the integrated USB, and I was kind of like, huh, unusual. I don't know how much flex there is, but it's like a FR4 plate that comes with it.
Yeah.
So, but I
Which
haven't
is
heard any like, yeah.
it's weird too because you would think that if you're going for a flexier style, that would also using an integrated USB like that would cause an uneven feel because obviously you're gonna have more pressure around that port, especially if it's with the standard now, which it seems is continuing of it being super close to the actual USB port. So it's just kind of like shoved in there. And if it's flexing around, you're going to have some uneven type feel.
Yeah,
there.
but even to like to your point before, it's just easier to have the JST connector, and you just get whatever compatible PCB, so you don't have to worry about the USB compatibility on the case. You just put it wherever you want.
Exactly. Well, that leads us to our fourth and final question in the Fast Four. Your top 4 favorite foods.
Oh man, easy. Yeah, it's easy. Number 1. This one is in order. Number 1 on the list, ramen. As you can, because I'm a huge weeb again. But also, it's just there's something about ever since I was a kid, I love carbs, but ramen has hit a certain spot in my life where it can do no wrong. Okay, no, I take that back. I have had bad ramen before, but I will eat my microphone is Shin ramen. I will eat Shin ramen every day if it wasn't so healthy. I eat it at least like once a week. I love ramen in general. My favorite place in LA is Sujita and Sujita NX. If you guys are ever in LA, go there. It's amazing. Second is going to be K barbecue. Doesn't matter what kind, as long as it's all you can eat. I just inhale that shit. So, number 3 would have to be pastrami sandwiches. Again, carbs and meat. I love pastrami. Don't know why. Tastes good. And then 4th is fried chicken sandwiches from specifically Popeyes, Chick-fil-A, Bolo Burger in Los Angeles, and there was a 4th one I can't remember. It's in the downtown LA area, but I love fried chicken sandwiches. I don't know why. I just crunch, I guess.
I mean, they're good, man.
Which one's better though? Popeyes or Chick-fil-A?
Shit.
If you ever want to be on
Popeyes.
Dixie, you're not going to be on Dixie's good side anymore.
Yeah,
forever.
I'm sorry. Chick-fil-A is very good. It's very good. But Popeyes, the way that they flavor that, I don't know what it is. It tastes so good.
See,
Yeah, I'm not getting sponsored by Dixie now. So I'm sorry.
I mean, it happens. It happens. Honestly, though, I had when we went to the Yard House, their like Nashville hot chicken sandwich was like, oh, I still think about that all the time.
Dude, it's good.
Oh yeah.
But that's not fast food, so it's a little bit harder to compare.
I gotta go. I have family in Alabama and Georgia.
Yeehaw.
Yeah, my dad grew up in the South. It's weird. So he turned me on to a lot of Southern food. So another thing that I really like is a country fried steak and like grits and
Dude.
Waffle House.
Oh, dude, scattered, smothered, covered, and top, baby. You want to eat some food, then go into a coma the rest of the day? Waffle House is the place to go.
Or possibly
and like
Roscoe's,
Roscoe's fried chicken and waffles here, and then Roscoe's or like just fried chicken and waffles in general in the South tastes completely different. The South takes it like hands down.
Trey Pop, where you from, man? Where you from?
Alabama.
No, I just want to know. I mean, I see the Bama, but chip beef, dude, chip beef on sausage gravy, chip beef on toast, dude. My grandpa always called it shit on a shingle.
Yeah, dude, that's what it's called. That's the Southern way.
Southern way.
Like corned beef hash, dude. Like
Huntsville. There you go. My dad grew up close to there. My family's from Trussville. Spoilers, not spoilers. Doxed, whatever. Wrong word.
It's okay. I'm pretty sure you said that before when we had Dixie on.
I'm sure. Yeah. That's, just here's a list of my family, their social security numbers, and their list of their 5 greatest fears and locations of jobs and schedule. So, but yeah, guys, Kimchijodyboi. So when did you start streaming? I know, I mean, I say when, I kind of know, but I know you. I was introduced to you through Decline, and strangely enough, our first conversation was I was talking about cameras.
Yeah. So I actually started streaming really recently, like very recently. I think it was what month is it? I don't know. The days are all blending together.
September.
Likely beginning of July, or sorry, end of July or beginning of August. Maybe like middle of July, like somewhere around there. I don't remember when my VOD is down, so I actually can't check. But super recently, but I've been in the hobby for over a year now. And it's one of those things where my background is I went to school for film and television. That's what I did for the past like 3-4 years. I worked in the film industry here in LA. So when I actually came into streaming, um, I found a lot of similarities between streaming and just unscripted reality TV. Uh, it's more, it's kind of the same. It's just the scale is obviously a little bit smaller. So when I came into streaming, I was like, I'm not just gonna do like build videos or like on the cuff stuff. It may seem like it's very on the cuff, but I actually like kind of have to schedule and like plan my content on top of the content that I want to produce in the future.
Mhm.
More discussion based topics and streams where not only can it be like easily cut down so that way I can upload it to YouTube and whatever, but more around like the content of discussions that things that are happening within the hobby, um, things that I personally am interested in and I'm very passionate about with the community, stuff like flipping, toxicity towards like vendors, and like a lot of the things that people want to discuss, but it's not very public. And I think that for a lot of this stuff, it's one of those things where you can maybe solve it, um, or whether even a discussion of whether it should be solved and whether or not we as a community come to an answer on that. But even more than that, I think that the discussion itself is the first step and it should happen now as soon as possible,
Mhm.
especially with all the new people coming in that they're not even aware of a lot of this. So that's more about why I started streaming and what I want to gear my content towards.
Yeah, because right now is like the time, and I've had this conversation with a couple different people of like the content that people are making right now, because it's so influential to people who are getting into the hobby, has the ability to shape the community in the way that we want it to grow. Sense of like the community, while growing exponentially, is still relatively small, and as it continues to exponentially grow, the content can shift people's mentality and approaches and the way they look at the hobby. And if you can shift it into a way that's more positive and about, doing things together, working together on things, not being just generally a dickhead. Um,
Yeah, fuck you, Osiris. Jeez.
but
God,
no,
they're so toxic.
it is it is the perfect time for that, to get that positivity and like shift things into that nature and be about that, because it will have echoes of truth in the hobby in the later times.
Yeah, and you run the risk. So this is something that I've discussed, but thought a lot about as well. Is toxic people. They're doing it because of their own insecurities and all of that. But on top of that, what's kind of, and I'm not saying you should never criticize someone who's a content creator or anything like that, but Osiris and I have come under fire a few times, and people have come after us, and people have said me, I got called a fat special fuck one time. That was fucking hilarious. I could not. I literally. So Osiris was sick. Osiris was like puking his guts out one day, and he's like, "Hey, I can't stream tonight." And I was like, "Okay, I'll fill in and do something." And I sent him a screenshot of it, and he woke up the next day and he's like, "Wait, what the actual fuck?" He's like, "What does that even mean?" I was like, I don't know." Because I mean, as a content creator, you do have to have that thick skin. But the other thing that people don't discuss a whole lot is like mental health. So like if these I've seen it before, I've talked to people about it. Content creators will either leave which is not what you want, because you want the growth is going to be through content, and growth is going to be through doing things together, like Osiris said. But the other thing too is you can wear down these people, like Osiris and I and Kimchi as well. We're humans. We have jobs. We have lives outside of the keyboard community and hobby. And when you're just like toxic and toxic and toxic, you're either going to push them out or you're going to turn them into someone who can't be as positive as they could be moving forward. And so when you're being that big of a downer on someone for no good reason, then you are hurting the hobby, because you're preventing someone who could be making this hobby really enjoyable less enjoyable.
Yeah, so when I first got into the hobby, I want to say maybe like April-ish, when I actually started really taking it seriously and doing research. Um, I noticed a lot of the for lack of a better word, just the toxicity within the community. And I guess at that point it was kind of starting to get, or it was known, but it made me, as like a newcomer coming into the hobby, not want to ask any questions. So I didn't go on, I wasn't active on Discord, Twitch, YouTube, Reddit, or anything. I literally just spent several months doing research and figuring out what I could, because a lot of the people that were newcomers before me had questions, and it was like they were already answered. So I figured like, oh, a lot of my questions probably someone else had. So I just did that, but that feeling of not like being afraid to ask a question and risk like having people more experienced than you, or like just like shit on you, or like make fun of you for just asking a question. It kind of hindered my growth in the beginning a little bit. Um and that's why, like, with my stream, I'm always just kind of like, be nice to the newcomers. They might not even know any better, but also at the same time, newcomers coming in should have this understanding that your questions have already been answered. And like a lot of them, if you go into any server, ask the same questions over and over and over and over and over again. And to the older, like, veterans of the community, the reason why they can become so jaded is that these newcomers don't understand the way the hobby is right now.
Right.
And even right now, the hobby is like, it's changing. The community is changing because of all this influx of new people. So I think that just in general, don't be a dick. It's fun to meme, and like I get it, but at the end of the day, don't just like tear people down. Just help them, give them advice and whatnot.
Yeah.
Are extras available?
I think there's also like the mixed bag of like, there are people who, because I see this a lot in different streams, it's like people who are there a lot and are like actively part of that streamer's community. Sometimes, people will come in and ask the same questions over and over again. They get frustrated and they're like, dude, stop. I mean, there's also a little bit of like, some new people don't know how to like necessarily ask the questions in the best way of like, what is the best of this? And then they just keep spamming it. And you're like,
yeah,
it takes some time. The spam, don't spam your questions, people. We'll get to it.
This is a big word that I'll use, because I don't get to use this word that often. Some people need to learn how to extrapolate data without having to have their hands walk. You don't have to hold. Like I am happy if someone asks me 100 questions, I will answer as many of them as I possibly can. Or if I can't, I will point you in the direction or get you to someone that knows more. I'll get questions randomly about like, hey, I'm getting into artisan making. Like, can you help me? And I'm like, no, not even a little bit. But I can point you in the right direction to someone that can, because I'm not going to sit here and try and tell you to try and make yourself make artisans. But there are some times where you can point them in the right direction. They're like, I just want the answer now. I'm like, well, the answer's not that simple. I can explain it to you, and then sometimes we'll answer, hey, they're like, hey, what's the difference between these layouts and why do you think this is better? And I'll explain it. And they're like, but like, which one's better? And I'm like, well, here's a video where Osiris and I literally argued about this for 2 separate videos about why we like which ones and the benefits and all that. And they're like, well, I don't want to watch that. I want the answer now. And I'm like, well, why do you want the answer now? Like the instant gratification that people need out of these answers. I'm like, you're going about it the wrong way at that point. If you're just looking for the best thing, then go look at what boards Nathan Kim's building, and those are going to be some of the best boards. If that's the answer you want, that's the answer you want. But outside of that, it's like you've got to be able to take that information, process it, and apply it to your specific needs and desires.
Completely agree. So the example that I always use is like, well, 2 examples. It's like, one, it's like you're researching a paper for school. 2, it's similar to how like asking someone, what's your favorite food, or like, what's the best food, I guess. And to everybody else, like, that's why with the fast forward, all the answers are different for every person that comes on, because it's a meme right now, but it's 100% true. It's all preference within this hobby.
Mhm.
And I think newcomers coming in think that there's some sort of like standard or like status of levels of tiers that are good to great to best to trash, and that's not really the case. Like, some people don't need a $600 keyboard. Some people just want a tofu with gat yellows, and it's a good board.
Yeah.
Like, there's no problem with that. But I think that the idea that like my preference is better than your preference, that's where a lot of the toxicity comes from. And a lot of people don't quite understand that, like, if you like a tofu, that's fine, but also don't limit yourself to only being like set on a tofu. There's so much other stuff you can try, and if at the end of the day you like the tofu, you like the tofu. Like, don't limit yourself, but also don't shit on people that have different preferences than you.
Yeah. There's nothing
Unless
wrong with
you're a
tofu.
fucking 65% user.
Hey, there's
Oh
nothing
no,
wrong
my
with
660, no.
No, I mean, it's funny because even like in this community on some of our videos, there was like, I can't remember which typing test it was, but there was one a couple months ago where someone was like, next time get someone who actually can type fast. And I'm like,
that's
it's like,
that's a top 5 YouTube comment from Max on Deck, by the way.
it's like you're gatekeeping someone's typing speed. Like, come on, man.
Like, they're not.
It's like,
Imagine having the fingers of a 16-year-old. Holy shit.
It's like, come on, dude. Like, if you if you're that like mad about it, then go make typing tests yourself. Like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like,
Why are you here? Why?
It is scientific fact that your typing speed is correlational to how good of a person you are.
Yes.
Within society.
100%.
1 million
That's why I only type with my middle fingers.
The search and destroy, but the cool way.
Yeah. Yeah, the toxicity, it always baffles me because, I have seen it's not every server has it. I've seen it in ours, I've seen it in Nathan's, I've seen it in Top Clacks, I've seen it in lots of people's servers, and it's always going to be there because people get tired of, oh, what cap set's going to work with my tofu? It's like, that guy literally doesn't know. Like, let's pump the brakes. I will always, when I got into the hobby, Osiris showed me Anthony 001, and I just kind of hung out in this chat a little bit, and then I hit him up on Discord, and I mean, that guy literally walked me through like almost everything that I learned very early because he just took the time. It took him 20 minutes, and I try not to ask the same question twice, but there was that. And then I had, before we were talking about Mechs on Deck, but it hadn't really come to fruition. I talked to Huey for like, I don't know. It was kind of a constant conversation throughout the day. And I was like, this guy, this random dude, he's got a life. I understand that Top Clack is not his main gig. And this is back when Huey was in Top Clack. I was like, I understand this is not his main deal, but, the fact that this guy just took his time out of his day to answer these questions for me, that's something I'm going to model myself after, is just always take the time to answer the questions. But there's only one person that I've had to, I know Cyrus knows exactly what I'm talking about, where I'm just like, dude, I can't answer anything more. I've pointed you in every single direction possible, but you're not asking questions. You're just wanting a what's the best answer. And I can't give someone a what's the best this. I can't tell you because that's not a thing.
Yeah, the amount of people that I've had asking me questions within DMs, especially since I started streaming, has grown a lot. But I always so back when I first, like I said before, when I first entered the hobby, I was like afraid to ask questions. That feeling has kind of stuck with me a lot, and it's always in the back of my head whenever people ask questions. So I very much try not to turn people away, and I always try and take the time, no matter how busy I am, or if I'm at work doing something, I'll be like, hey, let me answer your questions later. I'm busy right now, but I'm willing to help you. I never want to make someone else feel that feeling of that I had of I'm afraid to ask people because it's like, oh, I don't know anything, but people are being mean to me. And I think that's something that a lot of people within the community, especially with all the gatekeeping going on, can at least should try to implement. Because even then, with a lot of the questions that I get, or even not in my stream, I hang out in another streamer's chat, Gym Leader Nathan, and there was someone who was brand new. They literally found out about mechanical keyboards that day, and they hopped on Twitch and they're like, "Hey, so what is the best Switch? Not even the best gaming Switch, just what is the best Switch overall?" And I was like, "That's not how it works. You can't come into the hobby with this mentality of best and worst. It's all preference." And I kind of had to walk them through what was considered good and what wasn't considered good. But at the same time, some things that people considered weren't good, people really enjoyed.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. And I think that just taking the time to help people like that, especially people that don't know any better, and if they're taking the time to actually ask questions, if they're genuinely interested, they'll very much appreciate the help.
Mhm.
As I probably would have, but I went about the hard way, and I had 50 tabs open on any given day of keyboard stuff.
I like to think of it as like looking at cars, right? As if you went and you asked someone, what's the best car? There's no answer for that, because it's well, what's important to you? Is it speed? Okay, well then maybe it's this crazy Bugatti, right? That's over 1,000 horsepower. Is it being able to have a lot of people? Well, maybe it's this minivan. So it's there's so many different options based on your needs and what you do and what you use it for. And sometimes you have to do the same thing you do with a car and test drive some things to figure out exactly what you like and what you want out of what you're investing in. Because if you don't, you're going to end up with something that you may think is okay, but you may not like it the way that you were hoping that you would or initially thought you.
Yeah, and so here's we can just turn this into a tips for beginners of how to ask questions stream. But yeah, avoid the word best in general, because so DD Klein brought up a good point where with computers it's a little bit more cut and dry, right? It's a little bit more what's better. Well, this can do this much, this can do this much, this can do this much. And then you go, well, what do you need? Well, what games are you playing? You're like, oh, I play as Among Us 24/7. I'm like, okay, you don't need a 3090 coming out, because you can run it on your phone. But that's where the needs come in. But there's not that list. There's not that we've said a bunch. But what you can do, and I've said, obviously, there's no best way to test a Switch outside of building a keyboard with it. So that's why we always recommend get a hotspot board if you're starting off early. But find what you like, test a lot of different things and a lot of different spring weights. And then honestly, if you find hey, I kind of like these 3 switches, go into a Discord and go, hey, I really like these 3 switches. What people who like this switch, what would you recommend for me? Because I have a very good friend, Grindbox, and Grindbox and I have almost identical preferences in switches. And every time that he's liked something, I've liked something. Every time I've liked something, he likes it too. And so that's someone where if he goes, hey, I like this, I'm like, I'm absolutely going to go try that because I know. So if you find people with similar preferences, you can start growing and trying new things through that avenue, because then that will also, the one that'll help you save a little bit of money because you don't have to buy 900 switches. Trying, because I remember when I got in the hobby and I tried shit tons of different switches, just trying to find what I like. But that's the great thing about there being so many people, and then people on Discord as well, so it's all over the world, that there is guaranteed someone that likes what you like. Keyboards would not be a thing if there wasn't a agreed upon like for something.
Yeah, I mean, there wouldn't be box switches still existing if like people just, constantly didn't like clickies. Like people like clickies. If you like clickies, that's fine. Just make sure you know what you're getting on top of that, and like find people who like the same thing that you like.
And your preference changes over time.
Yep.
Oh shit, yes, it has. Oh my god.
What were some of the things that you were into when you first got in the hobby that you're like way different now?
Oh shit. Okay, so I'm sure like with a lot of people can relate. Before I actually got my first real keyboard, it was like 3 years before that. I started off with like, actually, it wasn't even so. I saw my friend's mechanical keyboard. I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of like vintage looking keyboard, but then with like a vintage looking PBT, some probably Thai house set. And he pulled off the keycap, and the stem was blue. So it was a Cherry MX blue, and I was like, "Oh shit, what the hell is that?" He's like, "Oh, it's a mechanical keyboard," and that's actually how I found out about it. And I did basic research of like, what are the 3 different types of switches, and that's it. I was like, "Oh, MX blues," because I want that sound. So I tried that. Like, that's cool. I stuck with blues for like a while, and I kind of moved into tactiles for a little bit. Uh, and then I swung back, and I was like, I want to try the stupid heaviest switch, clickiest switch. And at the time, it was navies and box navies and box jades.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. And those are actually the two that I always recommend to people if they like clickies or if they want like a clicky switch. Because to this day, people meme on it, but I'm kind of like, it's a good clicky switch. If you want like the stupid, like insane amount of tactility and like the loudest noise possible, just box switches, box jades. I prefer box jades personally for a clicky because navies are like stupid heavy. But that it's like that feeling of clicking on a pen, and I loved that for a long time. And then I realized I kind of got bored of it, and I was like, oh, I want to try something else. So I swung all the way to the other side of like the smoothest possible linears. So I got like every single type of like Gateron, Cherry, like KO linear at the time. And I tried all of them. And I was like, yeah, linears are for me. And so far I've stuck with that. And now it's kind of changed from like switches to different types of boards. I did not like the TKL form factor, and now I really like it. Because even though it's big, it provides all the functionality I need without having to learn different layers, because I am a boomer and I can't do that. I did the HHKB thing where I swapped caps lock and control. So my caps lock is control for like this past week. It's so annoying, but it's so useful. And that's just me. Like, I'm trying different things. And even within the hobby, like 10 years from now, I might like silent switches. I don't know, but I'd be open to try them. I'm just down. Like, your taste will change over time, but don't get locked into one thing, and like try and find people that understand and know what you like, and that obviously have more experience than you.
I mean, Chewy, what about you?
Yeah, so I mean, I started on razor greens, so good old click jacket switches, and then I got the Osiris told me that linears are better for gaming. Don't worry, this was before we got into the custom hobby. But he's like, yeah, dude, get these MX Reds. And I was like, all right, whatever. And I was honestly like never the biggest. I really like the layout of the keyboard, but I was never the biggest fan of the switches. And that was kind of one driving force behind it. Then Osiris and I thought it would be, man, the first board I built was or I didn't build it, but Osiris built it, was clickies, but on like WASD and all that. I was so afraid it would affect my performance that I put linears on all the keys I would use for like CSGO for movement.
Wait, just so I'm understanding this correctly.
Yeah.
So like WASD, you had like linear and like
WASD,
QR,
shift,
like
enter, not enter. WASD, control, shift, and space were all
my
linears. So typing on this outside of gaming was a nightmare. So I very like after I think like I don't even know if I made it a whole month. I was like, okay, I'm gonna get like 10 switches and turn this into greens. And then my switch tester came in and I was like, hey, box whites are way better and cooler sounding. And then Osiris had initially said you should get box whites, but
he didn't.
I was using the rubber, the little gasket O-rings. And you can't do that on box whites. So then I wound up getting box whites, and I was all about the clickies, and I tried the dark yellows. I think that's what they're called. The box dark yellows.
Yeah.
And they're like heavier linears. Enjoyed that. And then I got from Novel Keys, everyone was like, oh, Zelios are great. Zelios are great. And I was like, okay, let's see how good they are. And I was like, oh, these are actually pretty solid. So I got 67 gram and 78 gram. I built 67. And then I think I built 4 with 78 one night. And I was like, this is so much better. And ever since then, honestly, I haven't really looked back when it came to 78 gram. And then I guess the Holy Pandas came out, the Jesus switches came out, and then the V2 Zelios came out. So I took the springs from the Zelio V1s that I had, and I put them in the Jesus, which those switches are still right here in my Baka. Love them all the time. I relubed 3 of them. I relubed my stabs. But honestly, since then, my preferences, I mean, I like creams. I got the last thing I'll say, which was still to me fucking hilarious. I bought springs, about 80 gram springs from KBD fans.
KBD fans.
Oh, I think I heard of this.
Yeah, I bought 80 gram springs from KBD fans, and I bought 80 or 85 gram springs from TX, and I was like, these are not the same springs. And then it like appeared to me, and I was like, that's Cherry MX rated, so that's actuation, not bottom out. So I was using like 103 gram springs for a long time and didn't realize it. And that's where my love of heavy springs got. And I really enjoyed the switches. I made Telios with 100 gram springs, and I really, really liked them. I was like, oh, I love how smooth it is. And once that's why my crown has 98 gram creams in it, because I love the sound of creams. And that was my issue with linears, is I was like, it just doesn't sound that great with a lot of these. And then once creams came out, it's like, all right, full speed ahead. So
yeah, that's wild to me, because I maxed out at like 70. Beyond 70, I'm kind of like, my fingers start getting tired.
I got sausage fingers, man. I mean, look at these.
These. So people are like, oh, your hands look so nice. I'm like, no, if you see them in real life, they're just like stubby. But yeah, I've been moving towards like not just slow springs, but lower and lower and lower springs. So now I'm at like the 63.5 gram slows.
I got some 38 gram springs. I don't know what to do with. Also, anyway.
Yeah, right. I've got some as well. You can have mine. I can't even do the 55 gram red inks. Like
I tried the super light springs like just once, and I was like, I can't. No, I don't want to sneeze on my keyboard and have it just actuate every single. No, I can't do that.
What about you, Osiris? What I know the one switch. Your sneezing switches.
I have, yeah. So I started with a Ducky 1. No, it wasn't a Ducky 1. It was like a Ducky full size that was with reds, which for the longest time I did not understand the difference between reds and browns. So it was actually the board was in the wrong box, because the box said browns, but the board was reds. So it wasn't a shine. It was just the regular one. It just lit up blue. I wasn't too fancy. But yeah, someone had like returned it, and they put the wrong like they put it back in the wrong box. Like so maybe someone was like checking them, but yeah, started on that, and then I built my first Tada 68 in like the plastic case, and actually took that to work with Gatoron Browns, just stock Gatoron Browns, which was pretty interesting. And then after a while, I decided, okay, I'm not playing CS:GO as much, so I can move away from having the numpad, because I use the numpad in CS:GO for my buy binds, so I could just quickly purchase AK, Eagle, all my grenades, armor, kit, and all that. I wasn't playing that game as much, so I was like, okay, I can shift down to a 65% at home as well. And so I bought into the marketing hype of the speed switches,
Oh,
and
Best for gaming.
I bought Gatoron Speed Silvers, or no, Kale Speed Silvers. That's right, with Kale Burgundies. So the alphas were the Speed Silvers, and then the modifiers were burgundies. So it actually looked pretty cool when there were no caps on it. But I mean, it was a fine board, but it was definitely what you said. I couldn't rest my fingers on it without like actuating switches.
yeah. Seems to be a common problem. I'm still having that problem right now with mine, but like I like the lighter spring weight, so I'm willing to not put my hands on the keyboard.
Yeah, it didn't really work out very well. So, and then I quickly shifted into actually changed out the switches in my work board to a Pro Plum, like the heavy Novel Keys, Kale switches. It's like the Pro Purples, but the heavier version, which are a little bit heavier tactile than what you get from a brown. And I enjoyed those, and then I kind of moved into Zelios and a bunch of different stuff. And I'm kind of still a little bit all over the place with my preferences. And so, yeah, it's definitely changed where I'm not going lighter. I'm enjoying going heavier. The lightest board I have is 63.5 with the Sirius. That's actually on my desk right now, which is fine, but I wouldn't want to go much lighter than this. Like 55 grams are just way too light for me at this point. But
No, I'm friends with Tubes, and like I know he likes the lighter springs where it's like 60 is kind of his max, but then he recently tried the 63.5s, and he's like, "Ooh, nice."
Yeah, I don't. Ever since I got on the heavier ones, I was like, it's not like. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a preference, right? Like, it's not. I just enjoy. I feel like when it's heavier, to me, heavier is smoother on linears, like because it's this like. I don't know. It's instead of like I feel like I'm pressing the keys and not just slapping the keys with my fingers. And I mean that's kind of why I like while I can't talk, dude. I'm sorry. That's why I like very tactile switches, because I feel like I'm pressing the switch. When it's a heavier switch with a heavy tactility, I feel like I'm actually like pressing the switch and not just slapping it. And so I think that's a big reason why. And that's because when I play guitar, I played very aggressive and very like kind of that like new wave bluesy where it's just very like kind of Jack White, very like heavy on the hands. And it's just I've got very strong grips, so like I know that anything that I do, I'm going to be doing it probably too hard. So yeah, I mean I bottom out my 98 grams and I fucking love it. Oh yeah,
I know I said I don't like tactiles, but navies were the first tactile where I was like, yes, because I love long boy springs, or sorry, stems. Give me the long boy pole, because it's got like a really long pole. And Decline he hyped up Zyko so much that I don't really care for tactiles, but I want to try at least one board with tactiles. Likely a 60% or like a 65% or even like just a 40%, so I don't have to spend so much money building them. But yeah, it's just like if there was a tactile like a Zelios bump, but with the pull of a navy, someone make it happen, please. If with the pull of a navy, that's like my ideal tactile. Because I surprisingly really like the navies and like the clear bump. I didn't expect to, but I feel like if I threw like a heavier spring in there, which I might actually have to do now because they're not that they're a little too light for me as a tactile. But yeah,
Grindbox nails that.
Crazy.
Give me that long boy pull. Kimchijodyboi 2020.
Hey,
give me the long boy pole.
I mean,
Please clip that.
it is a little bit unique. I know I built the Kepler with the Moyu black switches, which I really enjoyed and really surprised me. And they also have the longer pole, which is such a unique feel. And someone asked of what are our thoughts on bottoming out. I think all three of us definitely enjoy bottoming out. I think it's like you're not supposed to. I think like technically you're not supposed to, but I am so down to bottom out the switch.
Dude. That's why I like Zykos. There is no, you just bottom out.
Yeah, I have like a bunch of Halo stems, and like I have the most recent drop Holy Pandas. I have the navies. I just need the Zelios bottom, and I think I'm gonna have to just bite the bullet and get like 80 of them. I say bite the bullet, but I spend so much money on like other shit that's not Zelios.
Building a 60, I'd get at least like 80 switches.
Yeah, I have like one or two, and I'm kind of like, oh crap, I might need to. Oh, and then in a brass plate, tactiles in a brass plate, and creams in a brass plate are OP.
Oof. I'm typing on creams in a brass plate. And I got Holy Pandas in a brass plate, and Holy Pandas in a brass plate, and Zykos in a brass plate. I don't have a non-brass plate. Every time I'm like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna try. I'm like, nah, no. If I do it, it would be with a board that I already have a brass plate with, and then I would get. Like I was looking into getting like a polycarbonate board, for like the key cult, just to try gaskets with polycarb, and just try something a little different. But then every time I looked at it, I was like, do I really want to spend? Do I really want to buy another PCB for $60-something and a $30 plate just to wind up realizing I'm like, cool, this is why I don't use this.
Yeah, I have so many plates coming in for my montage, as well as like other boards that have like multiple plates that I'm kind of like, I need to buy so many H87As PCBs. I found one that's the Thin Boy PCB, Heine's Thin Boy PCB. So like just 4 more to go.
Yeah.
I'm at the point where like I know what I want in terms of like the general idea of a board, but it's also like I want to see how much I can pull out of a board and also just try different things. So I'm already thinking of like different ways to rebuild like the montage. I'm in on the Think V2, which I guess I have to get custom stuff for that. I have a 1.2 coming in. I have Polaris as well, like a bunch of other stuff. And I'm like, how much can I pull out of this individual board? And it's going to get expensive, but it's different than just buying a completely different board.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm really enjoying palm plates. I have it basically since I got my Sirius in. My Bauer has a palm plate. I think the only one that I really want to try that I haven't spent a lot of time with is carbon fiber. It's carbon fiber plates. People really like them.
I have a forged carbon plate coming in that I'm very intrigued to try. It was kind of strange how it came about. Someone was like, well, we have one extra. Chewy gets first dibs. And I was like, why the fuck do I get first dibs? And I was like, you know what? Sure. Let's try it. Let's give it a shot. Let's
Wait, sorry. When you say forged, do you mean like, in my head, I'm like
a dwarven man, just like Gimli just sitting there. Dude, I don't know. It's just like, you know what? It's cool and it looks neat, and why not? I wouldn't mind. I feel like what's funny is because people want something new. Like it doesn't happen as much, and I feel like I should do this too. But you can have the same board that you really like and have like 3 different builds on it. And if you just buy like 3 plates, like you go into a group buy and you're like, oh, I'll buy this, and then I'll buy like 2 extra plates and 2 extra PCBs. That's 3 different fucking keyboards, especially if you're getting ones where you can get like a polycarb plate, a brass plate, and then maybe like one of those plates as a half plate or something, where you can get like this very wide range. I'm like, that's 3 completely different builds, all in a case that you really, really like, or like in a good mounting style. And that's kind of like I was talking about the key cold. That's a different keyboard altogether. If I got a polycarbonate plate and then put like linears in it, that's going to be polar opposite of a Zyko build and a brass plate. It's going to sound different. It's going to feel different. It's going to be completely different. And then if you have a second set of keycaps, it's like, oh, now it's an even more different keyboard. It's like owning 2, but you only spent $100 tops, 100, maybe 120 with switches, $200 for caps, as opposed to buying another like $400 keyboard. Like,
So what is
Rebuilds
this?
are the way of the future. You can only have so many boards.
Yep.
What is the forged carbon plate for?
Oh, the crown.
I'm very
I figured
curious.
I figured it was the
It
crown.
was the crown. I got hit up. So this,
Lost you.
I messed. Can you hear me?
We can hear you,
Yeah.
but we can't see you.
Me unplugging my keyboard caused my camera to have a stroke. So hold on, we're back. So my crown. The thing is, I don't know what fucking switches to use with it, but I also like need to get my hands on it.
The forged carbon should realistically be insanely dense. Like it shouldn't actually flex like at all. This forged carbon is like denser, well, like in terms of like flexibility, less flexible than regular carbon fiber.
Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm probably going to go tactile just because I would love a tactile TKL. So honestly, I'll probably wind up going like Holy Pandas, or I might try and get my hands on these glorious pandas that everybody's going crazy about, and then slap some 74-gram springs in there, because I'm sure the springs they use are not what I'm going to enjoy. So
I haven't.
I'm excited to build that. And then this is another build. It uses the Heine Bush, the H87. So it's like, cool. I can just go get a PCB for that.
I haven't. Yeah, I haven't. I didn't get in on the glorious pandas. But I'm hearing those and like the Everglide Jades and aka Moyu Blacks, and I guess now the Everglide Jades have different colorways in China, so there's like different spring weights for them, and they look really nice. I'm not gonna lie, but I haven't really tried any of those. But I am curious to try them. I know that I'm hearing that the glorious panda is. I'm trying so hard not to say the GHP, like. Because if I say it, I'm just not gonna.
From the hobby.
I'm gonna meme so hard on it, but I'm hearing that it's like more tactile, kind of, but also not really, and also the leaf is like inconsistent, and it's a good alternative, I suppose.
So, and I do want to get. Sorry, you go.
Oh, I was just gonna say the the glorious pandas. I've heard from people that they are the best imitation of the original from a couple different people.
You said the best, and I thought you were gonna go somewhere, and then you
Gaming
said
Switch.
No, I like and I was not the best, the closest to the original. That the housing itself is much more resembles much closer to the actual Inver Panda than the drop, the JW or not JWK, the Jesus, the Yox. That is what I have been hearing. I obviously want to get my hands on them as well. But I've heard
just go knock on
very
their door.
good things. Yeah.
So a couple questions in chat really quick. Any thoughts on the Stelios controversy? Gives them a bit of pause with JWK. I really want to try T1s. It happened. It's over.
It was like a year and a half ago.
People forgot about it at this point.
If it wasn't for Stelios,
it's goofy, but like if you go outside of the keyboard hobby, like IP infringement in China is not really like a thing. Like everybody copies everything over there. because like we Osiris and I vape, and we're very into the vape community many years ago, and there's copies of everything you can imagine that gets copied. So it's like, it happened because it happened to a vendor, and people will back vendors, and I get that, but I think, at this point it's like, I feel like people have stopped really caring because they're like, fine, we'll just make our own switches. And it's like, cool, you should have done that to begin with. So,
I mean, 2020 was the rise of like Duroc JWK, right? So if it wasn't for that, they wouldn't really be here in the same way, at least. And like they're good switches.
Yeah.
But please don't steal other people's stuff, please.
Yeah.
Just try not to.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah. Did you?
I was just gonna say, there's also like the conspiracy theory that JWK wanted the whole Stelio controversy to happen because then it would allow them to branch out and create their own market share.
Also, all press is good press, right?
Because then that took, right, like, so if you think about it, they had the Stelios, right, which were branded as fake Gatoron or fake Zeal switches. The other switch they had was the T1, which was not branded as a JWK switch, was branded as a KBD fan switch. And then this one situation got them out of having to deal with all that, and now they're able to brand their own switches and then
make a bunch of money.
Not have to share.
Not have to pay it.
Just saying.
I believe it 100%. Time to write it and put it in writing.
Where's my macro for the X-Files theme? Hold on.
OGT1s had KBD fans on the housing.
I've got them in my. I've got like. There's only like 3 sets of switches in there that I still have, and I have the KBD fans smoky housing T1s. Chewy recommend me some good quality springs for my NK creams. I like heavier switches. 90 grams is good, not required. 89 gram or 98 gram springs from Novel Keys. I use both of them in 2 sets of creams, and I love both of them. Buy both because they're like $8. Like that's $16. So just try both. And then have the Glory Pandas released yet? Like they did like a mini, like a soft open, right?
Yeah, they did a run like 2 weeks ago or last week. One of those things.
Soft open with the most marketing I've ever seen for a soft open.
Yeah, but that's what they're trying to do. Like,
yeah,
because it's one of those things. It's like they've probably ordered a metric buckload of switches, and they're just trying to have the marketing stay, consistent. Because their whole deal is like, even if you look at the releases of their mice, is they try to make it to where they make less mice than what is actually going to be wanted by that group of people, so that way there's always demand. And in that time of waiting for the next drop, it builds and builds and builds and builds, and then finally it eventually gets to the point where they're in stock. But
also, I'm so happy the Model O, which I don't give a fuck about, is coming out in wireless, which means that the Model D is going to be wireless.
Maybe
eventually.
As long as that doesn't critically fail, I'm going to be able to have a mouse that I like and have it in wireless. Anyway, and how do GHPs compare to Zycos? I have no idea. I need to get some. I might have, if you've got GHPs and you want to send me like 3 or 4, I will happily pay you for said 3 or 4 in shipping, because I'd love to try them. Let's do some side-by-side comparisons.
I kind of want to answer this one from Phantasmal. What do you guys think of switch modding? Is it fruitless? Is the Zyco not the fruits of Chewy's labor for switch modding? I mean,
I think it worked out. It depends on what you say switch modding, like, because technically looping switch modding, and so by that logic, I mod every switch. I don't really like them anymore just because of the sound, but the sound's very gatekeepy, but I don't use stock switches. I will lube them, and then I usually will use my own springs in them. I don't typically like the springs that come in most switches because I like heavier switches. So
they've been like Franken switching, because I'm very into Franken switching. I kind of do it like I did one on stream Franken switch session that kind of spiraled out of control, and I was like, we'll turn it into a group IC review, whatever. But I actually recently made, I don't know where I put it. It's somewhere, but what I call berry cherries. I don't know, but I took the Kale Pro berry stem from a kale switch and I threw it into cherry housing because I wanted long boy poles, but also I wanted to retain the unique cherry, the unique cherry housing sound. It has so much pop and so much volume. I personally really like it, and like the stem travel, it is shorter, but it's not by much. And I also put them in the cream housing and called them bingsus because it matches perfectly with the bingsu colorway. And that also sounds really good too. But like that's because I wanted a very specific thing out of a very specific switch. And I think for 99% of like maybe like 95% of like Franken switch mods, they're gonna kind of either be not good or just not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, Zycos are fickle bitches. Like,
Very cool bitches.
sometimes they'll, like, I've had a couple that just decide to explode. Like, the top's just like, I don't want to be a top anymore. I'm releasing my legs and
good.
I'm done. Sometimes the leaf's just like, I want to not be seated anymore when you're putting them in. And then they just is like, I'm a linear now. Fuck you. But
yeah, no, I shit, I had a joke and I forgot. Shit.
but the thing about Franken switches though is that's like we are in a unnecessarily customizable hobby already, and it's like why would we not go to the furthest level of customization with it? Like, we are talking about people who buy switches or make the same switch in a different color just to match their keyboard, or buy mix and match different stabs to make the color match or get a certain feel using way over engineered lubricants for the keyboard switches. Like, I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like people are going to do it, and what you said was perfect. Whether or not it's actually like worth it or if it's better, it's like that's kind of beside the point because people are still going to do it anyway. But more often than not, I feel like Franken switches aren't as worth it, especially when you start getting to crazy stuff. Like, I've had people PM me about like, oh, you should try this. And then you have to you got to bend the leaf by like 15 degrees. And I'm like, dude, that's
too much effort.
That's too much work, man.
Your scientists were so concerned with if they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
Yeah, honestly, ever since the Zycos, I just, I get, like I was talking about this last night, I get sent things that you should try this, you should try this, you should try this. And I try them and I'm like, this is cool, but like it's not worth it. Like a Franken switch that I did enjoy for a while was Paco's, which is a whole halo stem inside of a cream housing. And it was really cool, but it was just kind of like, it's a solid switch. I'm not going to say it's a amazing switch, but it's not a bad switch by any means, and it sounds solid. But it's expensive, and then on top of that, it's like, well, what am I looking for? I'm looking for something that sounds good and that is very, very tactile. And so, the one thing that I have found, but then I was like, that's just really fucking expensive, is I do like the blueberry stem and the panda housing. I think that's a cool combination, but that you don't get like the payoff for that is, it's like, well, am I just building this to have something slightly different, or do I just build Holy Pandas? Because at the end of the day, it sounds like a Holy Panda. It basically feels like a Holy Panda, though just slightly different. And the difference to me is not enough to justify buying two sets of switches that then I'm going to be stuck with a cream. Then I'm going to be stuck with Paco's at the end of the day. And I'm like, I don't want Paco's. So
I just wanted to point out, Decline says it's expensive, says the creator of the Zyko.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I made what I made and I'm back to fuck up.
I mean, Zycos are a very wasteful endeavor.
Here's the thing. I've bought 40 switches for Zycos. that were specifically for Zycos. I had to buy backup Zelios and I had to buy backup Yox to make a little bit more of the exact color combination. But most of the time it's because I bought something and I bought something else. And then that's literally why Zycos were a thing, because there were just parts laying around that I had extra.
Yeah. That's how the Holy Panda literally started, because the pre-production Halo switches were sitting on Brian's desk while he was making Xandas with Zelio V1 stems. He's like, I wonder if this will work. He threw it in. He's like, oh, fuck Xandas. So,
which is kind of hilarious, because that's literally exactly how Zycos were made. Yeah. I was making Xandas, and then I took the opposite, and I was like, oh. But with V2s, which I imagine made a huge difference.
It's like the two most popular Franken switches are just like, fuck it, let's see what happens.
Space Cables, what's up? Is the Church of Zycos Deathmatch still a thing? It's not dead. It is not dead. See, I feel like more you talk about Zycos, the more I'm okay not trying them. I mean, like I've said more negative things about Zycos than I've said positive things about Zycos in my life, because what I don't want to happen is I don't want to tell someone you should try Zycos, and then they come at me and they go, I bought 70 or 60 of each of these switches, and then I built the board and I built my 60%, and then 14 of them got fucked up, and it's your fault for not telling me. That's why I'm like, I am the first person to tell you how fucked up they are. And that's why, we talked about the murky switches. That's what pissed me off, is I'm like, you're not telling people that these are fickle as fuck. You're not telling people that your switch could literally explode in front of you.
doesn't want to be seated anymore.
It just gives up. And it's just like, oh, it's like you pull a cap off, and you're like, oh, I've got pieces of keyboard everywhere now.
Hello.
SM Keyboards, thanks for the 8 months. Appreciate it, my dude.
So I guess I had a question for you guys. I guess now in your in each of your individual keyboard careers, is there anything that either is coming up or that you've long wanted to try, whether it's a board, specific plate, Franken switch, something else, or even something that hasn't even been made or thought of yet within the community that you want to see within what I guess someone make, or something to happen within the community?
Stock, extremely heavy stock tactile switch.
It's kind of like
blueberries. Blueberries was not enough.
It's like, what about blueberries?
Blueberries, I had to up. I had to like blueberries. I had to pump up those numbers on the Halo Trues, but those aren't as tactile. Talking about mega bump. The thing is, when you get a heavier spring like that, you can make the bump insane.
You need to talk to Mike and get him to make like the box Royal heavies.
Just take the bar on the box and like glue it to the legs.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like at this point, I'm like, just give me like 150 gram where it's just like.
Dude, you should hear Chewy decimate his spacebar on his laptop. Sounds like thunder every time he's like. It sounds like he's slapping his laptop.
It's like I just slap keys. It's not heavy.
Man, for me, it's hard. I think there are things that like I want to make. Like there are certain design elements to like keyboards and stuff that I want to do. Like I've said it before of like, why do we have 3 indicator lights on like 65 and 75%? Like when they do have indicator lights, like do we need the other 2? Like just give me 1 for caps lock, right? Or like more design elements on the top of boards. Like there's a lot that you could do with like different engravings on the tops and making them just like more aesthetically pleasing. Doing things that are more intricate with that. but that kind of goes against the minimalist aesthetic that a lot of people really like in the community. So I don't know. I mean, I have a board that I would love to do at some point. I just know that it's going to be very expensive. So
I would likely buy that.
yeah,
We don't have a shortage of money in this community, apparently. So
yeah, the buying power of this community is absolutely insane. Absolutely insane.
Have I tried putting something behind the leaf? No, I have not.
Interesting.
So
Behind the
I've become less creative with my switches over the last year. Like honestly, I have. It's not something that I'm not like upset by it. It's not something that I'm like man, I should really get back. Like no, I'm happy. That's the thing is you it's not in game. I'm just happy with where I'm at with what the switches that I have. Like I don't need to go search and buy and spend all this money to potentially find one other switch that I'm happy with. I'm happy with what I have. So
I think for
I'll
me,
spend
it's
money
just
on
like
other things.
the meme. I was talking about this, and I have to give credit to Tubes because it was mentioned in his channel. So if I don't, he's gonna come after me. A 108 key keyboard case, but the entire thing is just a space bar. So like it's like a space bar macro. So like purely for the meme. So like literally as you're like, but just with your entire fucking hand. The big switch times like 4 is essentially what I want.
Okay.
I dig it. I can get behind it.
I mean, that's literally would
You want
be
a
a
one
giant
key
meme.
macro pad that is the size of a 108?
Yes. Specifically with, and you Chewy, you can have like a 3-pound spring in there.
Oh
So
yeah.
you can actually
well see what you do is you just put like 100 switches in it. So that you have like
individual stem.
each you have a little stem and you have to just like carefully align it and press it down. I would totally get that. It would have to be like stacked acrylic and it'd have to be ortholinear for it to work. And it would have to be stacked acrylic because I would put it on the wall and I would totally have it where anytime if something like that's bullshit, punch it. something crazy would happen.
This is
The
gonna
alarm
be
goes off, it's like fucking lasers.
I'm sensing that this could be a Linus Tech Tips video, where it's the world's largest 60% keyboard, and it's that spacebar with big switches as the rest of the keys, and then a ginormous case that you use. Yeah, I think they
There's
did.
a picture of someone that's like standing in front of a big. I don't know if it was the actual big switch.
But
a piano keyboard that makes switches. That'd be cool. I think the only other thing would be cool is like build a mouse with keyboard switches. Like that'd be fun. Like I would love to put some box whites in a mouse and just so when you shoot someone in a game. But Cyrus, what time is it?
I think it might be the time. But first off, thanks for Mr. or Mrs. Streaking Bison for the 2 months. Tier 1, appreciate that. But I think it's time for Keyboard of the Week, which if you're new here, if you've never been here before, join our Discord and throw a picture of the keyboard you're using, or if you got a pretty picture stowed away, you can put in one you already got in that keyboard pictures channel. We're going to take a look at all of them, and we are going to judge the crap out of your keyboard, choose our favorite, and select a winner. And Chewy, what do they get?
They get to have their picture in the slideshow on the back of our streams. They will have their picture on the banner at the top of the Discord. They will be entered to have something happen at the end of this year whenever we get all that finalized. They will also have the Keyboard of the Week roll where you'll see at the top above the sponsor and get to be bright pink all week. So that was an April Fool's Day joke from Corsair Rosera. Let's make it happen.
I mean, Kale makes mice switches.
Yeah.
So realistically, they could do it.
Well, it's like that's one of the I remember Anthony 001 Anthony talking about this. It's one of the few things that like we don't customize monitors because it's like it's the screen. Like what do you need to customize out of that? But you customize everything in your computer, everything on your keyboard. The mouse you just kind of buy as is. I know some people will mod, will mod the
Air cords and
the
stuff.
mice and stuff, but like outside of that, that's mostly aesthetic. I know paracord. Some people will do it because it's slippery. It's a little bit more will glide easier. But end of the day, it's like just let me put a box navy in my mouse.
I mean, I'm looking at mine. I'm like, that seems like enough space for like a Switch, right? With like a 5-pin PCB, you just
Yeah,
instead of like the mouse buttons, you just have like artisan keycaps, so you can like
that would be pretty interesting.
more realistic to showcase your artisans.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Let's make it happen.
you could do it.
Someone who's good at designing mice.
I mean, I'm sure you could drill out the holes for the Switch in your existing mouse PCB, and then just wire it to the leads of where the actual normal switches would go. Little hand wire action.
I think Teja had the Topra mouse. I don't know what he thought of it, but I remember that he had linear mice.
I don't think
That
he
would
was
be
a
it.
fan.
That would be an interesting linear mice. Get some speed silvers.
God. I think he literally unboxed it and like pressed the left button once, and he was like, "I don't like this."
I think he used it for a couple days, and he might have returned it.
I would. What do we got up first?
Well, Chewy, get on the right screen. There we go. All right. So first up, this is one of Mr. Kimchijodyboi's favorite sets. It would be GMK Analog Dreams on an MGA standard with a palm plate, thick stock marshmallows, lubed and filmed with C3 pink stabs. So he's got the whole aesthetic going on here. What do y'all think about this one?
I dig it. I dig the upside down space bars. My guy.
The correct spacebar orientation on any layout.
True. I think it looks great. Analog Dreams, like you were saying earlier when we were doing the Fast Four, it's just such a pretty set. Like, it just looks so good.
Is that a matching cable?
It is. It's like a...
Oh, you got the pastel pink purple cable? Oh, nice.
I mean, this screams aesthetic. Like, this is just a cool... Like, I'm sure... I love chuletas. I'm sure that you often look down and smile at your keyboard because that's just like... That just looks awesome to look at all day.
I do think the only thing that would have been just like taking it to the whole another level would have been...
Another level.
It would have been if it was an E-white board.
Yeah.
Like, if it was bright white, I think that would play into it as well.
Do I have any artisans that would go? I might have. Ooh, I love chuletas. PM me. For artisans, I've got one that would probably match. Just one. Just hit me up. So, and I love the setup of the 9009 deskpad. Hell yeah, dude. Next up, we've got by Bantership the Lin Montage Navy with GMK Bingsu. So looks good. Getting a little confused because the lighting is making it look burgundy. It's like the left side of the board looks 100% correct. The right side of the board starts looking more red. But I like it. I mean, it looks clean. Bingsu colors came out great. So dope. That's all I gotta say.
What do you think, Kimchi?
Sorry, I'm like trying to full screen this to get a better... Okay, there we go.
And I know you hate the board with all your...
Man, Lynn needs to... I mean, he is technically running another thing, but he's gonna make another one. But this is very nice. I think that Wild Story. That's what it's called because I'm getting into artisans now. On the escape key, it matches pretty well with the accents. Just the only thing missing from here is there's no Hangul. There's no Hangul alphas because Korean board.
True. That would have been that could be a nice little touch to fit the full aesthetic. But yeah, Bingsu looks great. As Chewy said, it does look a little bit different this photo, but I'm sure it's just because of the photo. I'm sure this thing looks incredible in person and feels amazing. Got Holy Pandas lubed with 3203, a little bit lighter lube than what I know Chewy enjoys on his pandas. And C3 stabs, which the second board in a row is with C3 stabs. Interesting.
God, I love Bingsu so much.
Dude, Bingsu's so great.
It's just so good. Ugh.
So next up, we got the Polaris Telios half plate for the Max Flex GMK Olivia on there. There is in fact a W and an E, so this is not the QEE person. I mean, it's clean. This is a board that would like make people shit themselves 2 years ago because that's like peak Olivia hype. When keyless looks clean, I mean, it's overall you got a nice little artisan on your tilde. This looks clean, and I love that desk mat. The only one I've been using the Bingsu stripe desk mat for a while now, just because it's changing something up. But that's my favorite desk mat. So the Hexagon Dark. Why'd you say cafes?
I mean, this thing looks great. Like Chewy said, 2 years ago, this would have like people would have
Infinite karma on Reddit.
yeah, jaws on the floor. But I mean, it looks great. Like even the cable like matches so perfectly as well. I know a lot of people try to do like the rose gold cable, which ends up being really hard to match the actual color. So it's always a little bit safer to do the black and white. Not only that, it also matches a lot of other boards, so it's real easy to use.
He's got the matching M6 too on the macro pad. Literally everything just matches very, very nicely. God, it's so clean.
Yep.
Static.
So next up, we got a box next to the shittiest board on the planet. But we got a box with an Austin inside.
I didn't do that one.
Oh, you didn't do that one?
Nope.
Okay. Well, Brez, why you have such a shitty keyboard on your desk? So next up, I have no idea what keyboard this is.
E8.5.
The E8.5.
E8.5. Okay. Well, Zor Clicky Clack, the E8.5 with I just went blank on the name of that. Man, you know what? Someone else take over because I am fucking this one up.
It's like E8.5 with GMK Vaporwave and whatever artisan that is.
Looks like Genji.
It does look like Genji.
One of the Genji artisans. And then the Oramex, not Landfall. I have Landfall. It's his other mat that he ran. Forgot the name. Someone help, please, chat.
No idea. I don't follow desk mats, but it's a pretty desk mat and it fits the overall scheme. E8.5, cool looking board. I love lots of visible brass underneath polycarb. I think it's one of the coolest aesthetics in the community. So yeah, that's my take.
Especially on a TKL where it really just all that unused space with the brass shining through.
Dude, because that's my biggest gripe with like the KBD 8X in polycarb is that it's got cutouts around above the
for literally no reason.
Yeah, it's got the cutouts around below the nav cluster above arrows. It's like, why? Give me the brass.
I guess the thought is like, well, we want to make it even. I'm like, who the fuck cares about even feeling on your number row or on your arrow keys and your nav? Like, I'm sorry, I don't care. I don't need maximum feel for my page up, page down.
Yeah, the arrow or the alphas are the only thing that matter. I will say though, I do wish people made like for wing keyless, like for the polycarb here, you can see the
hole. Yeah.
switch cutout. Yeah, inside there. You can either like. I wish people had like a specific wing keyless brass plate, although that might affect sound as I say that and I think about it, or like some sort of LED mod. I think it would be cool, but again, people are minimalist and they like their classic style. But this is very nice.
And Purple Storm desk mat.
There we go.
So Purple Storm. So next up, we got the Drop Alt with GMK Olivia ++, Holy Pandas lubed with 3203, second Holy Panda 3203 board. Gatoron Ink Crytoxed for Spacebar. Cherry Stabs with Crytox 205 grade 0. Interesting choice on the linear spacebar, but I kind of get it when it comes to spacebar when you want that smooth feel. I can't think of the last time we saw Drop Alt, but that's a board that I point people to when they're like, I have $200. What's one of the best value things I can get right now? I'm like, Drop.
You don't have to put it together either. It's put together, you just got to throw keycaps on it. Also, PR_Cardi. This is our keyboard of the week segment. So we are judging people's keyboards. They put in our Discord, in our keyboard pictures channel. We pick a winner and they get some prizes. Yeah, this looks clean. I mean, there's a lot of Heart 2s going on. I know Olivia would be very happy to see that. But yeah, I mean, Olivia, it's funny because if we were sitting here a year ago, I feel like even just a year ago, people would be oohing and awing, but it's almost now like it's a little bit overplayed. It feels like Olivia's still a great looking set, but it just seems, it's just kind of like, oh yeah, that's Olivia.
Yeah, it's one of those sets where like everyone should have or is expected to have kind of, but I mean at the same time I don't have it, but
it's I mean there are to me there are staples, and that's like white on black, black on white. A set in that carbon theme where it's like, you know, dark mods, white alphas, accent color. I think that's like the third one, and then something Dolce.
I will say though his accent colors on the mods and the that home button on his home, escape, and the alts. Interesting placement. A lot of people wouldn't really. They just stick with like the escape and the enter. But I actually kind of like this. It's it's balanced.
That's what you got on your Bower.
Yep, that's exactly what I have on my Bower. I have it to where it says, luckily, because the Hyperfuse Origin set have a hyper and a fuse. I think that's a cool touch that I wish more people would do, of integrating the name of your set into the set, into the base kit.
My favorite key on GMK Camping. Boom, camp.
To be fair, that's a novelty. It wasn't in the base kit, but
well, technically the hyper, and this is in the base kit because camping round 1 is a base kit plus space bars.
Ah, that's true. That's true.
But I would personally consider the Hyperfuse a novelty key because it is a novelty. But yes, more people should do this.
I mean, that would also require molds, right? If it's like for the text in there if it's double shot, but.
So next up, Ortho minivan. Haven't seen a minivan in a while. Featuring a 9U spacebar, SA Bliss, 9U spacebar. Okay, DDD.
Is this who I think it is?
Yeah, it's DDD. 9U spacebar. This is a bit memey, and I love it.
Where did he get a 9U spacebar? Was that available in Bliss? Or did you just order an SA?
I think he custom 3D printed it.
Oh, man.
My guy.
You could probably actually order it from Signature Plastics. I'm sure they have a mold for a 9U spacebar.
And I know he's down because memes. He will 100% do that at every opportunity.
Hit him up.
I would use a 10U. I would totally use a 10U for like a Wen keyless board. I'd absolutely use a 10U. Just everything between the blockers is just a space bar. Like, absolutely.
This is Pandora. So like the 10U space bar.
Yep.
Until Chewy needs to use Control-Alt-Delete to do something on his computer, and he's like, fuck.
Roll somewhere else, man. I don't use right control. Control Alt Delete. It's a two-handed process, but
The only thing missing from this is the entire thing needs to be spacebar, and then we're talking.
yeah, then we're having a conversation.
True. Also, I like the floof in the back that's just kind of peeking out. Good,
I know,
nice
easily the
little
best
touch.
part of this picture.
Yeah, I mean Bliss also just looks great. Also, this like the purple, or is it pink? I can't really tell. Looks like it could be either.
I think it's more of like a dark purple, like something in like the Bingsu colorway from the pictures he showed me.
It's
I think I'm not entirely sure.
It's purple. Okay,
It's purple.
Yeah. You said it's
Why
purple.
you gotta make me look bad on stream, Decline? Come on.
Sorry, neck.
You're really messing up, man. DDD Klein told me, he was like, she's gonna fuck it all up. That didn't happen, I promise. I am very lost on what.
What is going on in this one? This is the Jin UMK ARM split hardware dev proto. What is going on with this?
Zark, gonna need an explanation. We do have the it's not a Discipline 65, but whatever the big one is called.
Mysterium.
Mysterium TKL with some SA Leviathan on there, which looks nice, but that's obviously not the centerpiece of what on earth is on this guy's desk. Gnarly Charlie for you. That's exactly. It's a proto. Well, it looks like a proto. It looks unique.
Sorry, my brain is just still trying to process what's happening here.
I just want to know, like, this color palette thing that's in the top of these LCD screens, is that for the RGB? And then is that touch screen to where you can touch screen pick the RGB? Because that would be pretty sick.
Just being able to do that. Think of the possibilities if those were both like that could be cool as a trackpad.
Mm-hmm.
Like being able to use that screen as a trackpad. It's like, boom, don't need a mouse anymore.
Okay, so
doing
it could
drivers
be that.
Dude, Zark, hit us up. I'm very intrigued. Keep us updated.
Yeah, because you know how like in like Premiere or like Lightroom, how you have those, that's like the color bandwidth, and you can just pick from that. That would be pretty sweet if you could just be like, I want exactly this shade of purple. That'd be pretty sweet.
I really like this.
I'm intrigued.
This is super interesting. My only thing that I would be concerned about is the 4 macros on the bottom, because if you're putting your hands on top, I don't know how you use a split or the linear staggered, whatever Decline calls it. But I would understand that like your wrist could potentially hit those. But other than that, this looks sick.
You know, we saw the knob of 2019 and 2020 are touch screens coming to mechanical keyboards.
We're spending so much money. We might as well.
Might as well have.
Why not?
Why not just have a monitor right there, and then you just put a computer up to it, and boom, you got a custom mechanical keyboard computer.
True.
Next up, we got the herringbone with some awesome Space Cadet, GMK Space Cadet. This is a set that looks so good in person. I love seeing boards in person with this set. I love it so fucking.
Herringbone. Why haven't I heard of this board? I assume this is like a discipline style thing.
That DIY.
It's like a discipline kind of style. It's actually a little bit obviously you can see it's like a little even tighter than what a discipline is on the
that's a bit snug.
Or not SM through hole components.
Oh,
but
that's great.
That's in there.
Yeah, you could run into some bridging issues there. But no, this thing looks pretty freaking sweet.
I need to buy this because it's F13. I need to buy
True.
this.
13. Although,
sorry, what?
I was just gonna say points off for the alpha colored pipe key.
And the alpha color tilde, but
Can't win them all.
can't win them all. Next up, another discipline. We're just rocking and rolling with these DIY kits. But this has a custom case by SM Keyboards. I remember seeing him post a picture about this on his Instagram with GMK Voyage, which I'm liking Voyage more and more. I think it's a really cool set that did blue justice, and this is a very cool looking board.
Yeah, it looks great. It's
Fire.
got a cool theming. Everything matches. It's one of the beauties of going with an SM keyboards is you can literally theme it out to the max, and it will be cohesive. Yeah, it looks cool. Also, it looks like did he add? Is that a copper plate? Yeah, copper plate. That would be interesting to try.
Yeah,
I would love to try this at some point.
because this makes me want to get the TKL one, the Mysterium, and then get the SM custom case for it with a copper plate or a brass plate or whatever, and just, I mean, that's just a cool looking board. If you spend a lot of time on it, there's your 7-hour Kimchijodyboi stream. Spend a lot of time, really spend your time with it to make it look really, really good. And I think that would be a looker.
Someone send me a discipline to build. Guaranteed 24-hour stream. Easy.
It's what you do in your 24-hour stream. I built one keyboard.
One board. Let's go.
Also, thank you, Tactilitarian. Appreciate it. Next up, we have a NK65 with Tangies, 62 grams, Luba 205 grade 0, filmed, and GMK Taro. Is this R1 or is this new Taro?
This has to be R1.
Yeah, I don't because Taro ran in March or February.
I don't know. I can't remember. It was early this year.
It was early this year, and it's not because Olivia was before that.
I don't even know if they're in production. Are they for R2?
I'm sure they are because I think
it'll be soon.
Yeah,
it'll be in the next 2 months or so.
Yeah, because Olivia, it was really close after Olivia, and these are two sets that already had the colors like ready to go.
Yeah.
So
yeah, this has to be extras. But yeah, Taro looks awesome. Also, yeah, exactly what Gnarly Charlie for you just said. This is a very practical board while having like a crazy high level of aesthetics. Like when we were talking about earlier, when I see people asking what is the best I can get, I almost want to push them towards things like this because I think this fits the need that they actually have of like the best you can get for the least amount of money. And
that board is under $300.
Yeah, and like
caps,
super high quality. Like you've got really great switches and tangies. You've got an amazing keycap set in Taro and a great board in an NK65, and you're out of there for $300. It's not bad.
Which, if you're looking at, hey, this is a custom, your K2 whatevers, your Corsairs, yeah, they might be $200. You want something custom that's going to be better, yeah, you're going to spend 50% more. So, Landlandia agree.
Even that milkshake edition, I don't need it, but I want it because it's like such a good deal that I feel like if I don't get it, I'm
like, if you are in the hobby and you are starting out and the milkshake edition is like one of the thing you should be going for right now. So next up, we've got the Hinoki Proto with H1's carbon fiber plate, GMK Camping, GSK Artisans, and a Lux cable.
Oh shit, Stash, this is cheating.
Yeah, well, this is cool, but Stash, come on. Where's my fucking mod colored keys, bro? Like, you're better than that.
Yeah, come on, man. Also, I totally thought that the pin was a bullet at first, and I was like, he's fucking submitting a photo with a 50 caliber round just sitting on the table.
I mean, camping, you got to protect yourself somehow.
Dude, yeah, but no, this looks great. Also, I love that you can see the shine. Like, you know that set of camping has been properly loved upon.
Yes, love.
He's got the coiled cable with like the cable management, like the plastic thing on it too. Like, just oh my god.
Peak. This is what peak looks like.
It's also a really pretty like cable color. Like the Tech Flex and the actual sleeving looks awesome. I really enjoy that. Good job, Lux Cables. I know you were here earlier. Not sure if you still are.
Well, we're having him on soon, a couple weeks. So, yeah, Lux Cables. So, sorry. And what's up next? We got ATX KB Moon Tower dyed red. Dog was sold as an in-stock item from another vendor. Noted. I had to make sure I read that right because I was like, this is a strange sentence, but it's cool. I mean, of the with GMK Oblivion, I do like it better with the white alphas, so I think you did a great job. This is a very nice looking board, and I love that weight is sick.
Dude, the red artisan too, dyed polycarbonate. I'm a sucker for polycarb. This is so good, and it's an aesthetic outdoor picture.
Yeah. Also, props for the doggo, like that. But yeah, that weight is freaking beautiful, and I love how it like kind of unnecessarily is cut out around where the bump-ons go. Like, because they totally could have just made the entire weight just like that much smaller to not have to do that. But the fact they were like, no, we want to make this weight as big as possible. We're going to shave it around the bump-ons. Props. This thing looks awesome. Also, the dyed polycarb, you did a fantastic job. If you did that yourself, if not, wherever you got that from, they did a great job. Yeah, I'm interested to see. Has this already ran?
Yeah, it ran and got delivered. I think a week and a half ago.
Damn,
I think
this thing looks great.
I need to talk to this person about how they did this, how they dyed this.
Yeah, that's fucking. It's just. I mean, it's a dope board. So next up, Matrix 8X V 2.2 with 63 gram lubed and filled 205 105 cream switch. GMK Denim, which I think is the first appearance on Keyboard of the Week from mods 8008 for alphas. So this is this is the Dallas Cowboys keyboard. This is the Dallas Cowboys keyboard. And two, this just looks sick. This is a dope looking board. Mad props.
This has no business being as good as it looks. Why does this go so well together?
I don't know.
What? Oh my god.
Doesn't it? This almost looks like a pre-built. Like this legitimately looks like a pre-built.
Yeah. Is it the lighting?
No, well, I mean, the alphas.
Looks so good.
The alphas of 8008 are like they're just a little bit more blue tinted in person than they look here. Like I think in this picture it looks a little bit more of a neutral gray. But it would work great with denim. Like it really would work great with denim. Also, the blockers on this board are super interesting, but still look really, really cool.
Mm. Yeah, it's like, hold on,
I didn't know the 2.2 came with the 0.75 blocker. The bottom. Interesting.
It just makes it look more unique.
Also, God, I need that desk mat. They sold extras of the Future Funk desk mat yet? Because I need to get that desk mat.
I think they put out I remember seeing an email today where they actually sent an email of desk mat extras.
I might have to look at that after stream because I need that desk mat in my life.
It looks fucking sick.
Yeah, same.
So next up, what do we got, Osiris?
This is a pre-built. We've had a couple of these, not this specific board, but of pre-builts on stream. This is a Steel Series G6 V2 with MX Browns from Trey Pop.
I mean, I know, so I can't speak much for pre-builts just because I haven't bought a pre-built in a hot minute, but I do know that a lot of people really enjoy the pre-builts. I love the fat enter, though. Give me that enter.
Chad enter. Not ashamed.
The only reason I would use a 2U backspace is to use the giant ass enter.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you like what you like. I'm sure this board was of fantastic value. And big ass enter is pretty sweet. Not gonna lie.
I want to know why that backslash key is different colors from everything else. Because it doesn't seem like it's an accent.
It looks like it's from Dolch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not the same profile either. Did he pull it from?
Yeah, workhorse board. I mean, it's mechanical. It checks a lot of boxes for people.
Yeah. And the thing is people forget you can, on a lot of these boards, they have plate mounted stabs. So you can actually take them out and lube them up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Last up, we have what looks to be almost the most unusable keyboard for me, personally.
Good
Oh,
Lord.
It's Zoo.
So this is a board. I have no idea what this is.
I know what this is.
So Zoo, if you're in chat, maybe let us know.
Oh god, I know what this is.
What on earth is it? Do you know what it is?
I know what he showed it to me on my stream, and it hurt my brain looking at it because I didn't realize that I was like, I was looking at this, and I'm like, where is the control? Where are the mods? How do you what if you need to control alt whatever? I didn't realize the artisans in the middle are the mods. So he made a custom PCB. He made a custom 3D printed case. He split the alphas and he put 4 mods in the center as like an artisan showcase. And it's just an extra long boy. I call it the Butterstick. I think he's calling it something else, but I like Butterstick.
Butterstick.
I think there might already be a board named the Butterstick. Because I think it was like 2U. It was like 2 rows and then like 8U long. I think that was already the Butterstick.
There?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought someone named it that in my chat. And I was like, oh, it's perfect. But I guess there might be one.
But this is like everything that you... This is literal trimming of literally any key that you don't use all the time is gone from this.
I want to type on this purely for the memes because I think I'm going to struggle so hard, but it would be such great content.
Yeah, this is
really
like
my brain. Just looking at this, I'm like, how do I use this thing?
I feel like you would need some phone level autocorrect to use this keyboard to like properly get all of your punctuation and everything, because I would not.
How to numbers?
How to numbers? How to anything on this board?
Still has both shifts too. True. Why does it have a 2.25?
Yeah, why does it have 4 shift?
2.75 shift.
2.75 right shift.
Everything is wrong with this.
Oh, it hurts my brain, but I'm so curious.
I like it. Looks dope. So that is it. Kimchi, you get first crack at which one you want to put up for voting on Keyboard of the Week.
One last thing about this.
Okay.
He has the comma, but he has no period or question mark.
Dude, you don't need.
I just noticed.
You don't need period or question mark. You need comma. I don't know why.
Starts with less than and goes into greater than.
You know what? My question was this Zoo? My question for Zoo is are you specifically a Mac user? Because you could get away with this because Mac will figure out is pretty good at figuring out what punctuation you're trying to use, except for commas. Because I know on my MacBook all the time I mess up punctuation and it figures it out. But it can never get like actual commas. It's just like it doesn't know.
This is well done for making the most interesting keyboard tonight. And that's saying something because we had a keyboard. Now, granted, it was not fully built yet, but we had a keyboard with freaking LCD screens on it. So, but
I'm still first, right? Oh,
You're
shit.
first. Which one you going with?
Oh no, is this what it's like to be you guys every week? God, this hurts. There's a lot of nice boards.
Sometimes it's really easy. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult.
I'm gonna go with the Hinoki. Yeah, Stash is Hinoki. Everything about this picture and this board looks extremely nice.
What about
That's
you,
saying because
Chewy?
I'm not a green set person.
See,
but
you're
this
up
works.
because I accidentally won last week.
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna go with the freaking moon tower because like I'm looking at this and now I'm like, dude, I want one of these. This thing looks sweet. I would love one of these in like a dyed purple or like teal, like to match my old Game Boy Color. Like, come on, man.
There you go. I'm gonna go with the very first one, the Analog Dreams Alice.
Ooh. It's this one.
Oh. All right, so we've got what was yours called? A moon board with it's got a not Dolch, Oblivion
Moon
on it.
Tower with Oblivion, White Alphas, Red Escape, Artisan. I don't know what it's called, and then a dyed polycarbonate red case.
It's just gonna have to say Oblivion. I will say the names of all of them, but sadly the poll only limits me to.
Dude. Apparently Alex has a purple one. I need him to like send that to me for like a couple weeks just so I can experience it. I need a polycarb board.
I do enjoy my polycarb board. I should look into dyeing it. That would be cool. Real quick. So guys, we have some amazing sponsors to check out this month, as well as every month. But go to switchmod.net/mexondeck to check out GMK Beta, partially designed by Krelbit and Heine Bush. So go be sure to check that out. And then other items in his store are 4% off with the code MEXONDECK. So if you need some other things there, go ahead and hit that code. Get yourself a little bit of money off. So Dixie Mech can go to mexondeck.dixiemech.com. Pick up SA Dual Shot. GMK Dual Shot is shipping now. So if you like it, you like the pictures, you should have time to make your decisions on if you think it is worth it to get SA Dual Shot. So be sure to check that, as well as 8008 ink switches are running right now. So be sure to grab that pre-order. You go to Project Keyboards for mexondeck.project.link, and you can go get, there's some pre-orders for some keycap sets still up right now. And then keep your eyes peeled for GMK Noir, designed by Apiary and Neflock. So it's a great minimalistic set. So go check that out. And you can head over to candykeys.com/mexondeck for GMK Yuru and Cat Mizu. Mizu running again the third profile. It's a very, very attractive set. I think a lot of people obviously wanted it because it's in its third profile. As well as GMK Yuru, very good, very, very, very clean set. I think that's going to be one that falls in one of those. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. You can check out Zap Cables. He makes the best cables in the business. He makes just these super high quality cables. So he's doing some in stock cables. So go check that out. Type Beast, you know, type BEA.st to check out the best keyboard newsletter. Issue 7 should be coming out relatively soon, but he doesn't stick to a structured schedule. He releases it when it needs to be releases, when he wants it to release, and that's half the reason I fucking love it so much. And last but not least, Smith and Rune. Go to smithandrune.com if you want to get some awesome apparel now. Go grab it now and keep your eyes peeled for what will be one of the best boards to come out in this hobby, the Iron 180. Yeah, I made that bold announcement.
You mean I don't think that's real bold at this point, considering
Not anymore. It's going to be amazing.
The Hinoki is taking the lead. You haven't voted yet.
I didn't expect this.
You haven't voted yet, chat. Polls at the top.
Vote.
We need some votes.
Awaken the lurkers. Go vote.
Your alt tab back in. Put your votes in. Which one's your favorite? We got an MGA with Analog Dreams. Oh, Hinoki won.
Hinoki. Was it even close? I wasn't.
No.
No, 17. Yep, there it is. So, congratulations, Stash. We had him on last week. I can't believe none of you chose the Matrix. The Matrix was cool, but the analog, I really like this Analog Dreams keyboard.
The Matrix was dope, but that you need a lot of stuff for that.
That's
it's such a good board. This was a hard decision. I want people to know I did not make this decision lightly. That was very tough.
Camping on a wooden board is peak. I would have chosen it if you hadn't. Like I think everyone in chat who knows me and knows my love for camping knows that I would have chosen that board if no one else had. But Kimchijodyboi, thank you very, very much for joining us. It's been a pleasure hosting you. What can we expect from you coming moving forward?
Where's my Discord? Sorry. Put that right there. So going forward, I have several boards coming in. On top of that, I am going to be putting out more interview style content, but more discussing specific topics within the hobby. Like I said before, like the whole flipping, the toxicity, the issues that seem to be bothering me personally. I might do that myself or like with other people. We'll see. On top of that, I don't know. I mean, Decline mentions this on stream, so I think I'm okay to say this. Decline and I are going to be doing a back-to-back 48-hour marathon stream. 12
Hell yeah, dude.
So that's going to be fun. He's sending me that damn Rivian 39 with all SMD soldering, and I'm just like, I'm going to die. But it's going to be extremely fun. And yeah, I'm excited to thank you for having me on. I'm excited to keep streaming, and I wanna keep engaging with the community in the best way that I know how.
Keep up the good work, man.
If you haven't yet, go give him a follow. Twitch.tv/Kimchijodyboi. Yes, so you can get a direct link. Go give him a follow. I know if you want to post your Discord link, join his Discord. Get ingrained in his community as well.
I will. I should probably just have this copy pasted somewhere, shouldn't I?
So, and then this upcoming week, I don't even know what I think I know what some of the options are, maybe, but I could very well just not know at all.
It's down to 2.
Down to 2. Okay, so we're down to 2. We'll keep you updated probably Friday when we'll announce. So maybe we'll announce on.
So I will be building one of 2 boards. It's either going to be a 45 ATS or a S7 Elephant on Saturday. So those will be the 2 options.
Don't drop the elephant.
What I'll do is I'll post a photo of the board to our Instagram whenever I get it. I will post a photo to our Instagram, and that'll be kind of the announcement of what I'm building on Saturday at 2:00. So definitely follow us on Instagram. Also, we just finished posting Chewy's collection on there, so check that out if you want to get a good look-sees at what he's got. We're starting up my collection this week, so yeah, one of those 2, 45 ATS or S7 Elephant, Saturday at 2 p.m. Central.
Hell yeah! So, And Kimchi, is anybody streaming that you would like to raid?
I get the dibs,
You
Oh
get
yeah,
dibs.
you get the dibs.
man.
Dibs is a dibs is a dibs.
So many decisions. So many decisions. I didn't expect to be making this many decisions on your stream today. Okay. Why is everybody on right now? Jesus.
It's like, yeah, I looked, I was like, there's no clear decision here either.
Oh God. Ah shit. Okay. We're gonna raid Dr. Huru.
Doctor Who. Let's
Yes.
spell that for me.
Put his thing here so you have it in the chat. He is fantastic. Great content creator. Very extremely nice. A little boomer, but that's what makes him endearing. Yeah, I'm one of his mods. He's one of my mods. I kind of found him on accident, but he's just so he has this character about him that just makes him really you want to be friends with him, and he's just extremely nice, and I very much enjoy him.
Absolutely. I'm excited
Well, you know
to
what?
hang out and watch him.
I think we hit. Let's be friends. Let's be friends. Let's show him some love and we'll get that raid going. So thank you, Kimchijodyboi, very much for joining us. We'll see you guys Saturday, 2 p.m. and buy a fucking Switch tester.